Okay, so good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of my intentional parenting journey. My name is Chisom, and I'll be your host for today because Coach and the other facilitators they went for the Lagos summit, and I know that Lagos people are already ready and are expecting them. They got the first flight this morning. That's why she's not here, but I know she's going to be watching. She's yeah, I can even see her chat. So thank you very much, Coach Wendy, for giving me the opportunity to do this. And today is very exciting because our guest for today, when I saw that she was the one, I was particularly excited because number one, she's a UK yada, and I know in the UK it's like 7 a.m. right now, and that's super early. Like she could be doing other things, she could still be in bed, she could want to like start her day, but she chose to do this. So um, I'm going to say thank you, and I'm going to introduce her. Her name is Mrs. Debbie Ekwo. She's also a masterpiece woman, in case you don't know. So imagine being a yada and a masterpiece woman. The combo, that's a very nice combo to have. So, Mrs. Debbie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Hi.
hear you now. Thank
Okay.
you.
So, are you excited to do this? Because me, I'm excited. I'm very
I am
excited
excited. Thank you.
to.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you to Coach, and thank you to TIP. Thank you to all the team. You guys have been wonderful and very instrumental in my growth and in my life and in the things that I do every day. I'm really excited. I'm really grateful to be here at this time, and I don't take this opportunity for granted.
When you say you're very um what's the word you used? But I know you're talking about like being intentional about your growth and all. It's very obvious because I see you in the groups, like I see the way you take your consistency, your dedication, like you take it so seriously. It's like you have the intentional parent academy at heart and you take your intentional parenting journey like so serious. So I just want to know, how long have you been in the inner circle? How did you join? How did you hear about us?
I've been in Inner Circle since December 2023 or 2022, sorry, because it starts in December. So I I knew that there was more to parenting and I knew that I had to be better as because by the time I joined international parenting journey and my child was about 3.5, almost 4, and I wasn't happy with the way I was with her. I knew there was so much that was wrong, and I didn't think it was her. In contrary to what other people may have said, I didn't think parenting was about her. I just knew I was the one pouring into her. So whatever she was manifesting was all what was all on me. And I was on this quest. I had a few parenting books. I subscribed to a few parenting email lists. And then I get emails every week, what to do with the child, what to do when the child is crying. Because I really wanted to be a good mom. I don't want to say I had a bad experience when I was growing up, but mixed feelings. You know how Niger parents do. I refuse to put myself in that group. And one day I was just so restless. I had done something to my 3-year-old and almost 4-year-old, and I said to myself, "Come on, this girl is a child. She's an angel. It's me. It's not her." And then I was so restless. And there's this friend of mine I only speak to on the 18th of June because that's her birthday. For some reason, I haven't forgotten her birthday since we were in primary, no, secondary school. I met her in secondary school. And every 18th of June, I would just say happy birthday to her. She doesn't remember mine, but no offenses. I don't take any offense. And then I just remembered her randomly and I went to her DP and I was like, your DP looks what's the word I use? I think I used the word fascinating. Can you please tell me a little more about what this is about? And then she just went on and on about Coach Wendy, how she was in the she was in the parenting school, as she puts it, and then how she was learning a lot. She was, I'm not able to implement all that the lady says, but man, she's good. She's that. I said, oh, I need this in my life. I'd never heard of coach before. I'd never heard of intentional parenting journey, but I was so hell bent on finding help for myself that God heard my prayers, literally, because I would never have thought of Ifechi apart from June 18. Well, maybe randomly on other days I will, but June 18 was the only day I literally used to go and go to her, have her chat to say happy
Mm.
birthday. And that has been me for years because I hardly forget my friends' birthdays. And then so she was just when she said, "Should I call you?" I said, "Yes." So she told me, and she said, "It's 50,000." I said, "Oh, that's fine." She said, "No, you don't have to pay the 50,000 today. You can pay 5,000." I said, "No, no, 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 no. It's fine. I'm sold." I didn't even go and Google Coach Wendy. That was the funny thing. I just said, "There's a school for parents," and this is because when I was a teenager, I had I like a discipleship thing where um there's a discipleship thing that kept me sane as a teenager. So I already knew the power of being in growth circles that can help you grow, circles that can keep you sane. So I believe so much in what Coach Wendy is doing, even as a person. I believe so much in similar groups like that. But for me, it felt so surreal that there was something for parents because obviously as teenagers, it's easy to have gather teenagers and gather, us as youths. I would never forget my discipler back then. I'm still in touch with him, my father in the Lord, because he really poured into us. So I said, this is like something I have been in as a teenager that helped me grow. And for every junction in my life, it was also very instructive for me because I always liked to learn about if I was going into something. I always like to do research or try and join a growth group or a learning group. So I said no. She said chat up the lady, and I chatted Coach Wendy. She just said add my number, chat this number, and then the admin. And then admin said, fine. I said, how much is the full price? Don't worry about it. And then I just paid. So by the time it was her, because that was in May, by the time it was her birthday in June, and I was saying happy birthday, I was saying happy birthday. I'm waiting for December 2022. And she was like, oh, great. Funny enough, she didn't join the next year. I joined the next year. And then she was now trying to get me to
Oh,
join. I said, no, 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 I've joined Masterpiece. I've joined Inner Circle. I've joined Conclave. I've joined anything that could join.
no.
If she said, if I don't have boys, I would have joined Boys Hub. But yeah, so that has been my journey.
That's is the fact that you said you not have voice and you'd have joined that. Like a lot of people always say this, like they want to join everything, and that's one thing that is so key. Like if you, it's not just about you, it's about like your children too. So I understand that you want to put your children, if you had boys, you would put them like so that everybody can have knowledge from everywhere.
Yeah.
But you know one thing I've noticed, like everybody whenever they join the inner circle, even watch our webinars or just go through our page, they are always like shocked. They are left shocked. Like coach would say something. Even I sometimes when coach says something, I'll be like, yeah, like, is that how you guys behave? Is that what you people do here? So like my point is people are always left shocked. So what was one thing about the inner circle that shocked you?
Um, it was just that whole one-stop shop. I didn't need any other thing after I met Coach Wendy. It was that whole the systems, the structures. I'm sure a lot of people have said the same. The webbing. Okay. So let me just say the story. So funny is that I'm very good at taking instructions somehow, and sometimes they fault. So when the admin chatted me back, I think they forgot to add me to a wait list, and they just said we're going to be in class on the 1st of December. So I wasn't in the wait list. I wasn't getting anything apart from a few emails. I wasn't getting anything to say that we're starting 1st of December, and I just vaguely remember that I'm supposed to be in a school, but I'm not in a school. So it was until the 12th. Honestly, I don't even know what happened. It was until the 12th that I chatted the admin and said, this school that they say we're starting December 1st, is it this one email that you people are sending, or is there more? So he said, oh my God, you haven't joined us. And it really took me aback. He now sent me all the webinars, the first webinars, the one the induction webinar, sorry. And then I watched it. I said, okay, anybody can sleep because obviously this was a sleep. I wasn't part of it in the beginning. But after watching the webinar, I was just sold. I was so wild. It made so much sense to run your family even way more than you run your business, have family values, have family mission, have it just made too much sense. I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. It felt like home, when you had been praying and God just like literally in simple words an answered prayer because it was too good to be true. I'd been receiving emails here and there from other parenting sources, but nothing as quite as deep and comprehensive, even on the first day, even though that was the 12th day for me.
Yeah. Like when you say you've been like receiving emails from other coaches. I just remember like the woman that did a few days ago, she was telling coach that a lot of things that she says, like she has never seen it anywhere. Like even when she said raising a girl with sense, she said she went to go and browse and she did not see anything about it. So sometimes even me, I wonder how she finds all these things. I'm telling you, I really wonder how she finds information like this. Because when I listen to her, every time I listen to her, I always hear something new, something that sticks with me. So, coach, I don't know, I need to tap into that glory somehow. So, if you're just joining us, if you're just joining us, this is my intentional parenting journey, and today we have the beautiful Mrs. Debbie Ekwo. And I really also want to know, in the inner circle, what are your top webinars? Three webinars that stood out for you and why? What about them made it so special? Made them
The
so
first the induction webinar, which
okay.
was um setting your values, your missions. I had a challenge with that because at the time my husband was not in inner circle, and I had a challenge because I felt like it wasn't my place to be the one to do the values and the missions for the family that I am married into. So I didn't, I'm going to be honest, the first year of Inner Circle was for me to grow. I didn't do it. I didn't know how to broker the subject. I didn't know how to, I had a challenge with um, talking about it because I didn't know what to say. So I said I didn't do the values because I was like, it's not in my place. I eventually sent it to my husband and he did it. But just having that, knowing there's a roadmap for where your family is going, know where you're like setting the end from the beginning so that you know the things that you need to do to get to where you need to go to, not just walking blindly as a family. That was very instructive for me. Another one was family safety plan. There were so many things coach said in that webinar that I've never really thought about. In schools and in the offices we have fire drills. I think it was also the one where she said that there was a US yada that um, that collapsed while she was cooking moi moi. And moi moi was moi moi that you use water, little water to cook moi moi. It was her 3-year old and how that saved the day. And that thing stuck in my mind forever. In fact, I use that story as if I was the one that saved the day. I tell people the story because I'm like, because having kids who are young, also I tend to have parents around me who have kids same age because obviously our kids are friends. But I use that story a lot because I'm like, no, you people should come and join me in this parenting school that I am. Can you imagine a 3-year-old saving you the day? And the one, it was still that same webinar. She was like, your under 12 should not be in the front of the car. I didn't think about it and anything. My almost 7-year-old is almost as tall as me. And when she uses a car seat, she's at my height. So I didn't think of it, but I just told her one day, I said, my coach said children under 12 can sit under 12. And she said, okay, came down from the car and went to the back. So the next day she forgot and she was about to go to the front. And she said, oh, sorry, your coach said no under 12-year-olds should sit in the front. So it was these little things, things that it's the little things for me. It's not even the very big things because there's so many things that it's easy to overlook. It's easy to you can't know everything. And that's the beauty about the inner circle. You can't know everything. It's just that whole systems, guidance, structures. And that's why I'm very diligent in following every day. As she's dropping the voice note, I'm listening. I restructured my morning routine just to suit so that I'm done with what I'm doing, 6 on the dot, just to listen and just to be able to, because these things that you're living in a world where knowledge is power. and then you put yourself in a place that there's so much knowledge, it gives you so much power, and it gives you so much strength, to even when I'm talking to my kids, they're not arguing with me, because I'm not even coming to you from a place of I think. So they're seeing it as, oh, mommy said this and mommy said that and mommy said this. So even the emergency safety plans, when if I fall down, we do the drills so many times. I tell her, they know my phone number. My 3 year old, she's 4, she's almost 5 now, but when she was 3, she knew my phone number. Like going to the supermarket and making them type my phone number in um there's somewhere you type your phone number, and then you can use the what's it called, the scanner. Just practicing how to do things, helping children to understand, because you're thinking, oh, these people are 3, these people are 4, these people are 5. They're not that small. They actually know. One day my 3 year old asked me, mommy, when are you going to fall? I said, you know me, I'm still a Nigerian parent, I'm not going to fall in Jesus' name. But this is what we do if something happens. The empowering of children, and not just saying that children will be children and children are not children, and and things like that. And I'm raising a girl with sense will be my third, because in this world that we're in and the climb that I am in, is very instructive for me to be able to bring up my girls in 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 that light, in that manner. It was too loaded. It was just too loaded, too loaded. As in, I don't even know how to unpack it. It's not something I can unpack in my intentional parenting journey. You just have to come into the inner circle and see all these things that everybody has been saying in the past 20 days, that it's true, that there's so much light, there's so much strength, there's so much you can learn and you would not unpack. I'm doing level 2, level 1 again, in 2025 again, because how do I want to unpack everything that has have heard in the last years? It's not possible. It's actually not possible. So it's hard to just talk about webinars, because we'll go on and on and on and on and on. And the only thing I'll say, if you're not a yada, you come and experience it yourself.
Experience it yourself. People I've heard from Sister Emi. When you were speaking, I noticed one thing. Everybody in the comment, they know you for your consistencies. Like that's a thing, because I've been looking at the comments. Even this one, as voice note is dropping, every has already summarized so adequately. A lot of comments like this, and that's so worthy of emulation. I don't know if it's something that you had like before the inner circle, or like that has always been you, but it is very, see, another one, the consistent Debbie is just so nice. Our mama consistency. So it's not just us. Everybody sees what you do. And that's so amazing. That is so amazing. So you said your husband too is in the inner circle. How did you get him to join? Did you
Oh,
join before him or you joined together?
I joined first. I told him I needed. Oh, he's the calm one in this house. I'm the yella. I'm the one that I know I don't look like a yella, but yeah, it would be nice to say a bit of my story. So he's the calm one in this house. I get triggered, and I'm very very grateful, because I knew that the when I said that I was asking God for help, I'm being sincere. It was a one morning, one winter morning, and asked my daughter, who the hell do you think you are? She's 3. I'm a small girl. Who the hell do you think you are? And she's a sensitive child. She just said nobody. I cried. I said, you're not a nobody. And you will not be a nobody. Your mother will go and find help, and your mother will help you to gain your confidence. And that was, you see, some people say, oh, how am I so constant? How am I so this? I know how much I'm trying to unpack in my life. I know my patterns. I know my triggers. Why won't I be serious about finding help for myself? I know that if I don't take care of what is trying to kill me and then kill these children through me, I will kill the children that God has given to. And I'm not talking about physical killing. I will kill their confidence, I will kill their destiny, and I will kill my own destiny. So I will fight anything that would not allow me be. And that's the reason that I do accountability, but I don't do accountability. What is chasing me is my own accountability, in the sense that I know where I am coming from. I know that my own parents, my own mom, as in, there was one time, sometime this year, I decided to write a story of my life. And I couldn't write it without obviously writing the story about my mom. And haven't finished the book. Brenda, if you're listening, sorry, it's not as if I don't want to finish that book. But I haven't finished the book because that book broke me first. My mom's trauma was trauma. When I say my mom's trauma, she wasn't capable of being affectionate, and it's unfortunate. She wasn't capable of, so it was just so much. I used to get triggered by the child crying. My child, the second one, will cry in the middle of the night, and then I will be so triggered. Why am I triggered by a child's cry? I started realizing it was inner circle that made me understand, trauma in my inner circle. That I had prophecies in my life as a teenager. Why wasn't I able to manifest? Trauma even will truncate the prophecies and the things God has spoken about your life. So why would I not take my journey serious? If I was crying for help and God gave me help through the inner circle, why won't I want to be following hard after that which will help my life? And that's why I am consistent the way I am consistent. I don't do everything, and that's the honest truth. I can't do everything because um that's why we will repeat level one over and over until we kind of flesh it out. But I try and do my best, and I do as much as I can do because there's just so much to unpack, so much to become, and that's the word, so much to become. Coach Wendy made me see possibilities. I'll come back to your question. I'm sorry. Coach Wendy made me see possibilities. She made me see life. She made me see that there's so much you can become, and that so many things will stop you. I started seeing it. I'm very, 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 very consistent with journaling on for my, my patterns, my triggers. I know what triggers me. I know exactly what triggers me, and I know that I am dealing with it. I know my pattern, and I know that if I continue in that pattern, so whether you continue in a positive pattern or a negative pattern, there's a set place you're going to, and I know where I don't want to be. So I'm fighting those patterns. I'm fighting those things. So I went to my husband and I said to him, Guy, I need help, please. I know you don't need help. You're good. Obviously, we all need help. But I didn't go from the place of you come and join me in inner circle. I said I need help. I'm not trying to be a yeller because I want to be a yeller. I'm only a yeller because that is, even though so much. You see, when I was not married and I didn't have children, I didn't even know I had capacity because at the age of 14, I had my first nephew and I had been babysitting for my sisters and my brothers for a long time. And I've never really been triggered the way until you have your own kids and you have your own, these are your personal people, you don't understand what parenting sets off in you. Because as a person, I can say I try. I not try when it comes to the things in my house. I went to him, I said, please, I need help. I'm not asking you to join for yourself, I'm asking you to join for me. I'm asking you to join for me. I'm asking you to please help me, become, because he struggled. He will be like, I can't take this yelling. I can't take it. So he has an office at the back of the house. He'll go and sit down at the back. I said, you can't be sitting down at the back of the house when your wife is trying to, deal with something. Just help me. Help me. I went as a helpless human being. I said, please just help me. And then he came on board. It's not been smooth sailing, but we're not running a marathon. We're not running a sprint. It's a journey. We're running. It's a race that I I don't plan to sign out from this race because I actually have a picture of what I want to be, and I can see how inner circle is helping me and has helped me thus far and is continuing to help me to achieve that picture.
That's nice, ma. Okay, so I also want to know. Tell us something. When you said you want to repeat level one, some people, most of the questions we always get is why do people choose to repeat a level? Why don't they just like fall out or go to a higher level? Why do you choose, or tell us something? Tell something to those people that ask those kind of questions, because why do they have to repeat level one when they can choose to either um, graduate themselves or proceed to another level? Tell us
I feel
something.
like inner circle is not a level by level thing personally, because even when I was in level one, 2022 December till that's up till, and then what I'm seeing now as in level one again is different. I feel like if you're, I feel like if you're with somebody who is growing, what's the rush? What's the rush? What's the rush? It's There's no rush. Did you do all the four webinars that they've done in the last 1 month? Have you done everything? All the voice notes, have you done it? The tools, have you done them? So what's the rush? I feel like I feel like there's a so let me say something. People ask me how did I put in the TIP thing, TIP structure into my own routine. I had my own routine before I got into therapy. I'm an exercise freak. I love to exercise, and obviously I pray in the morning, I read my Bible. But I found out that I needed to put CIP in somewhere. Unfortunately, even though I love to exercise, I had to shift my exercise from exercising in the morning to walking my kids to school, so that when I walk my kids to school, then I can, instead of doing exercise, I can now use I can now use walk to school as my exercise, because I needed to fit it in. I don't. It's the same 24 hours. I don't know how. And it's the same time in the morning. So if I is it I'm doing my exercises or I'm doing TIP. So I said I chose the TIP, and then I moved exercise, and that's because of how important it is to me. They're both important. I'm not saying one is above the other, but they are both important. But what I'm trying to say is that if something is important to you, and if something is a driving force for you, you will find a way for it, and then you also want to get the meat from it, because it's not rushing through things. It's not rushing through. There's no motion to rush through. What are you becoming? What's the process? It's a process. It's not. My kids are doing great. In fact, first year of inner circle, I didn't even concentrate on the kids, because I knew that those ones, when I'm okay, they're okay. That was my own philosophy and my own thing. When you're okay, when I'm okay, I'm okay. If they say happy mom or happy wife, happy home, as far as I found what it is that was making me, it was, I mean, I was actually very intrigued by my own behavior, because I was like, no, now they're my kids. Why am I triggered by motherhood wound, trauma? It was a lot. So yeah, I need to, it's just my own way of staying connected. It's my own way of staying and getting as much value that I can get, and all that. That's the reason I would stay back.
Okay, so in general terms, not just like your parenting at this time, you can also state about your parenting, but I don't want to box it too. How has the inner circle changed your perspective or impacted your life? Not just your parenting journey, your life, your journey of becoming and everything generally. How has it helped? How has it changed your perspective?
Everything, oh. It has changed everything. It has changed everything. I got married. I came to the UK. I got married. My husband was already in the UK. He came to Nigeria to ask me to marry him. I sure followed man to the UK. And in the UK, things are done differently. And when I was leaving, I was talking to when I was leaving Nigeria, I was talking to my fellowship people, and they said, "Oh, make sure you find a good fellowship, or make sure because you know how UK is. People get there and then they get lost." I didn't think I was going to get lost, but inner circle also helped me in that regard, to be able to to stay to stay sane. One, to stay connected to to myself first, and then my family. Inner circle has helped me to also evaluate my values, so I'm not just anywhere and everywhere. I'm not just I don't do random friendships. I like people. I'm a people person, but I'm not doing random friendships. I'm not being random in the way I live my life. It's easy to get carried away by the things around you, and it's true. So inner circle has been, like an anchor for me. Like, sometimes I'm on my phone and I'm probably browsing through, and I'm like, okay, let me just do small Instagram, and I will hear that small voice in my head. What are you doing here? Just close the phone. and say there's books to read. I kukuma have like almost over 100 Kindle books on my phone. So even if I don't have a physical book on my phone, there are over 100 books. So I ask myself, what are you doing here? That's that tiny voice. That's that voice that brings you back to your senses. It's a really strong voice for me, a strong voice of conscience, because brings me back to my senses. Or someone. Well, I'm not necessarily that random, but it just keeps you straight. Like you know what you're doing, you know where you're going, you know what you are focused, laser focused. I know what I want right now in life. I decided when I got married, I decided when I had my kids, I had two bad pregnancies, and I decided that for these children whom I have almost died for, I would stay at home with them for 7 years before I go back to work, because I didn't want to work so hard just to give my money for childcare. So I decided to be a stay-at-home mom for the first 7 years, which I did. I've gone back to work as a part-time person, but I I remember joining the inner circle in my fourth year of my 7 year um, agreement with God and myself and my husband that I will be at home for 7 years. And Oshandi said, "You may be a stay-at-home mom. You're always there for your kids, but what are you giving them?" I say, "Hey, see why I joined you see why I joined this people. It's not even about being a stay-at-home mom. It's not about what are you doing even as a stay-at-home mom, and it just helped. It changed my life totally in the activities I do with my children, in the way in the activities I do with my children, in the communication with my children and my husband. We are still a work in progress on that, because I'm the sort of person that would, be upset and then will just close up. I won't say anything, but it has helped me not just, you're not closing up, you're not boxing it in, or even the way I talk to my children, I'm very polite to my children. Um, when I'm not polite, they are the ones that say, "Mommy, in this house, we say please and we say thank you." I say, sorry. Oh. Yes, we say please and say thank you. Because, sometimes the spirit of your ancestors want to arise and make you go back to the Nigerian way of how I was parented. And then you say, "How on, will you go and do that?" And you're like, They my children look at you now and say, "No, no, no, mommy, that's not how we talk in this house." We don't we don't talk that way in this house. And I'm loving especially the one I said is a sensitive child, whom I asked, and who the hell do you think you are? I realized that if I had continued parenting in that horrible way of parenting, I'm sorry, I call it a horrible way of parenting, where you talk down at children and you don't listen. If I continued in that horrible way, I'd have lost that child, because she's such a sensitive child and she was losing her confidence. Right now she can look me in the face and say, "Mommy, I actually didn't like what you did." She's not closing it up or bottling it up. And they'll say they're kids, but their feelings are valid. And Inner Circle has made me realize how, their feelings are valid, has helped me to perspective. That's another thing I'm going to say. It has helped me in my change of perspective. It has helped me. I can't say it all. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm definitely not the same person I was 2 years ago. It's not even possible. I cannot be. And I know that as long as I stay connected and as long as I stay doing and as long as I stay submitted, I will continue to grow.
Thank you very much. Um, when you said like when you're talking about your children, the first thing that came to my mind was like they are your assistant coach because when you're trying to like follow, they would remind you of what you're supposed to be doing, and
Yes,
that's if you were not parenting them right, they would not be helping you in the way they are helping you. So
yes, yes, yes,
I
yes.
mean,
They're really my assistant coaches. Oh.
yeah, that's
But
what
when
they
I
are.
don't want to, when I want to do something, I tell them and I say, "Mommy, are you not doing like if I wanted to do a fast or something? Mommy, why are you eating? You're supposed to be fasting." They keep me on my toes, literally.
Okay, so about the devotionals, I'm sure you like since you're consistent, you've like read a lot of our devotionals. What's your favorite devotional that you've read? What's the one that stood out for you?
Is it the books? Hello, can
Can
you
you
hear
hear
me?
me? Yes.
Yes, I said, are
Yeah.
you talking about the books?
No, not the books. Okay, let me join them together. Both the books and the devotionals. Which one stood out for you?
Um, Connect to Correct, obviously.
Okay.
Raising an independent child. I'm the last child, so even though I was hands on at home, but I still had a lot of things done for me, and raising an independent thinking child just helped me see how we can ruin our children when we do everything for them. When when we don't when we're not training them to do things for themselves. And it was very helpful because it's not like she's just writing a book to random 1 to 18 year olds. She literally broke it down. So even if your child is 1, you know what you're doing. If your child is 3, you know what to do to help them. And I'm very proud of who my girls are becoming. They're 4 and 6, but they're almost their birthdays are next month. But I'm enjoying the fact that, oh mommy, I don't need your help. And then I also teach them it's okay to ask for help. So the mantra in our house is you try first. If you've tried and you can't do it, then you ask for help. So they don't just come to me randomly asking for help. Mommy, I've tried to open this and I can't. Can you help me? I say, yes, I can help you. Oh, let's try together. And then we try together and I teach them what to do. So one time my friend came to the house and I had to go out. She was staying with me and I had to go out on a Saturday morning. And she said, oh, girls, come and have your bath and brush your teeth. And they said to her, no, auntie. And I didn't want to trouble my friends. I didn't want to start telling her that this is the routine we follow in this house. Sometimes I don't know. I don't know. I just felt like, maybe our own is too much. And I told them and I left them. And then they said, oh no, auntie, we can't go and have our bath and brush our teeth because on Saturday morning we wash our bathroom. And I was very impressed. I was like, oh, wow. So she was like, how are you raising family? I have a friend that came to visit me and she said she's going back to Nigeria to tell all those nannies in that house they should stop sweeping for this 3-year-old and half-year-old, that they can't even wear their shoes. And she was like, this person made a mess. She's just 3 and then she's cleaning her mess. She may not do a perfect job. I'm not saying my children are perfect. That's far from it. But the fact that she makes a mess and the first thing that she thinks about is how do I clean it up is a plus for me. And I spilled something the other day and she ran and then she carried the broom and she helped me to clean. She said, Mommy, I just thought I should help you so that you don't stress yourself. And I was like, bringing up thoughtful children, bringing up children who can do things themselves to an extent or to the extent that their age and their developmental status would allow them. It's very, very instructive for me. If not for the inner circle, I probably wouldn't have been. I would have been maybe teaching these things when at a point where we will now become a struggle because obviously she teaches us about the windows of opportunity. Don't miss the windows of opportunity in your child's life. Because this to this age is when it's easiest to teach them XYZ. It's just like some people that learned how to ride bicycle as adults or learning like me are learning how to swim as adults. It's harder as an adult to learn how to swim. I've been learning forever. I still don't know how to do front crawl, but my kids will get it better because they started earlier. So it's just these little pointers. And then the third book for me will be resolving sibling rivalry. I won't say my family. I don't know. Maybe we have. Maybe we don't have. I don't know. But we're very cordial, even as adults now. But for my kids, the whole bickering and let me tell you, one of the fights that they fight is she's my mommy. She's my mommy. I say no, I'm not one person's mommy and not the other person's mommy. I'm both of you's mommy. So sometimes they all both want a cuddle at the same time, and then they are fighting who will cuddle and who will. I say, let's all cuddle together. I am both your mommies, So it's just helping me understand how to also not show favoritism to the child who is more. I don't want to use the word amicable, but there's some children are just easy. Some children you work harder, but understanding their temperaments, understanding them, and also trying to help them to see how they can negotiate with each other, love each other, is really, really helpful.
Um, One thing with parents sometimes is that they feel like if the children are not fighting like visibly, that means there's no rivalry. But now I've come to realize that it could be what the parents say. It could be what you do. Like when you said favoritism, and I like the fact that you had to tell them I'm both your mommies. I was really waiting to know what you like replied them. So things like that. That's why if you've not registered for the dealing with sibling rivalry course that is starting on the 9th of October, this is your cue too, because you might be fueling sibling rivalry without even knowing. Imagine you had said, okay, let me hug this person, or let me hug this other, or cuddle this. You don't know what would have gone through the head of the other child that wasn't cuddled at the time, even if you maybe said later. So that's that. And based on consistency, I know that you are one yada that is very consistent, like judging from the comments too. What advice can you give to people? Because there are a lot of people that are struggling with consistency in the inner circle. So can you advise them? Tell them how to be like our Mrs. Debbie.
No, I'm not trying. Please, everybody should be like Mrs. Coach Wendy.
No, but your consistency makes you stand
Yeah, well,
out.
I think one
That's
message that really helped me in the inner circle that made me understand what about consistency was the time management. I don't remember what the name of the webinar is, but she talked about as essentialism over over work life balance and over time management. So for me, the thing I would say is that certain things are very important to me. Eating is important to me, so I'll make out time for it. That's the truth, and I'm sure eating is important for everybody. Exercise is important for me, so I'll make out time for it. Reading is important to me, so I'll make out time for it. So many things that are fighting for our attention, but I think the important thing is to look at what's important to you. For me, TIP became very important to me when, after 3 months of listening to Coach, I realized that a lot of things I had struggled with. I sent her a message. I don't know if she will remember, but I don't feel the liberty to share it here in the open space. But I sent her a message and I said that I sent her a message after 10 months, even not after the 3 months, that after listening to you for 3 months, there's this particular struggle I've been having. And honestly speaking, I had deliverance. So I sent that to her and I realized that this is something I have been struggling with, even as a Christian, and I had gotten deliverance from it. So I think for me, what sets your consistency is how important something is for you, how pressing it is for you, the value that something thinks that the value that you think you place on something. Some people would some people are not foodies, so they will not may not place value on food. But the truth of the matter is that even if you're not a foodie like me, you will find time to eat because you need it for survival. So it depends on your someone chatted with me and said, how do I do it? I said, to be honest with you, it depends on what you consider necessary for your survival. You will do anything to save yourself. You will do anything to save your you will do if you think, oh, my marriage to this person is does will not crash. You will do everything. Because I realized that my yelling was affecting my husband. He's a quiet man. He will go into his office, he will go and sit down in his office. And I'm like, the husband man is not helping. And then one day he opened up to me and said, I can't stand this shouting. And I want to save myself. I want to save my children. My children to say it. Mommy, we are not happy because I give them the opportunity to give me a review from time to time. Tell me what you're not happy about with mommy. And then they say it. So mommy is nice, mommy is trying, but please can you just tone it down a bit? They won't say it that way, obviously, but and I understand what they're saying because as a child, I had a physical cupboard. The houses in Festac then, where I stay, had big cupboards that could closets I could take. As a child, when my mom starts yelling, I will lock myself physically in that cupboard. They will be looking for me up and down in the house. They won't find me. I had a special cupboard where I would go and lock myself. And I didn't want that for my children because I found out that even as an adult, I was still carrying that physical cupboard. But now, not physical, now it's in the heart. If you talk to me in a way that I don't like, or if I have a misunderstanding with you because I don't like wahala, I would lock up inside that cupboard and you won't find me. But um it is important for me to come out of my shell because I've seen that being in a shell, people used to, when you join inner circle, you be in a group of 200 people and there's only 10 people that or 10 people that are talking. What's happening to the other 190? There's this thing about hiding at the back, hiding yourself, not wanting your light to shine, being a light and but putting it under the bushel. And I've realized that I cannot thrive if I continue this way. I will end up miserable the way in old age, and I don't want to end up that way. So it's what drives my consistency is my need to come out of this whole shell that I don't know where I created it from. My need to break out of my cocoon and to fly. My need to become what I am to become. And it becomes so important for me to come out. It's not convenient. It's not convenient, but it's not about convenience, because if we stay with what is convenient, we will die. As we know in the inner circle, that comfort is the burial place of kings. So what is that comfort zone that you need to break out of to be able to fully manifest into what God has called you to be? Because you can have all these prophecies over your life, you can have all these big all these things over your life, but what you're not willing to break out from will break you, or will keep you under. There's a height you will not be able to go beyond. So why stay there when you know you're dying? You're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, and you see yourself, you're not getting anywhere, you're not feeling fulfilled. Why are you still there? Why won't I be consistent? I don't feel fulfilled in my 40s. So what can I do to break out of it? I study my patterns, I study my triggers, I study the things that are keeping me down, and I say, no, 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 these things will no longer hold me down. And for it to no longer hold me down, it cannot be a hard hoc thing. It has to be, I have to be consistent, and I have to keep on doing, and I have to keep on becoming, and I have to stay with the process to become.
What I picked out about it is what you don't break out of will break you. That's you. I even had to do because I felt it. I really did. People that complain about the price. I remember the woman that said if you check it well, that being in the inner circle or paying for the inner circle would is not up to the price of coke or something like that.
Yeah,
So when people
273
see,
naira a day.
yes, exactly. So a lot of people see it as like 100,000. So what can you tell like those people that feel like the price is too much, the price they have to pay for the inner circle is too much? Like give them an advice or something.
No, I don't think there's any price that is too much for any. I don't think, in my opinion, maybe, and that's my opinion, that there's any price that is too high to pay for your becoming. Any becoming that doesn't cost you, I don't know what you're becoming. The honest truth is that um I don't think it's we start this thing. My parenting journey started 1st of September, and we've had ten people. I'm the 10th person who's talking, if I'm correct, because 2 weeks, 5 days, 5 days. And I don't think 10 people and the rest of people who will be coming afterwards will be lying to you to say that you will gain value. In fact, your 100 grand is nothing when it comes to the value that you get in the inner circle. Absolutely nothing. You may say, oh, because she's paying it in pounds. It doesn't even matter. Pounds is still money. Do you understand? But it is nothing. I have paid for programs, and Inner Circle is one of the cheapest. I'm sorry, that I've ever seen. I'm not saying that we are not saying that for it to increase. But I'm just saying that it's one of the cheapest, but the most valuable I have ever seen. I was trying to talk. I was trying to talk to someone, and then the person was charging. I'm not even going to call the amount, so that it was a lot. And I just knew that, mm-mm, what are they going to give us there? Are they going to give us the miracle of how to change water to wine? Because apart from, if you give me that physical miracle, then I can now physically bottle the wine and start selling it in Aldi and in Tesco and make the money back. But honestly speaking, even the free things that she gives on the internet has nothing on you. It's absolutely loaded. In inner circle is absolutely loaded. 100K would not do justice to what you're getting, and that's the truth.
Thank you very much. I hope people would have those kind of questions. I hope people would have heard because the things, see, becoming is never easy and is never cheap. And like you said, becoming that doesn't cost you, any becoming that doesn't cost you, I don't know what you're becoming. I really don't know. Um, Another question I have is obviously like a lot of people have things to say. It's not everything that we say or that coach says that would sit right with you. So what were those things that you not maybe initially or you still like have those reservations? What are those things that when you heard them first you were like mm-mm. Or maybe eventually you began to see where she was coming from, but I really still want to know those things.
Let me tell you the honest truth. Where I'm also coming from, I'm used to hard truth.
Okay.
So I will not say there's anything that fazed me about the inner circle, apart from the fact that I needed to become. I don't take God's voice for granted, and I know when God has led me to a place and when God has told me to sit under someone. I hesitate, yes, sometimes in sense that when I want to, I'm one of those people that they say we have access to Coach Abby. I'm not going to go and chat out. I don't know. I will go and search for her books or search for some webinar that she has answered that question. So yeah, I may hesitate to have a one-on-one with her because that's just who I am. That's even wrong. Who am I? That's wrong. Let's scratch that. That's not who I am. I'm becoming. Well, I'm just what I'm even saying is that I may hesitate to have it one-on-one because I'm like, oh no, I kind of stay give authority figures their space. So I'm not one of those people that will enter her DM. When she say people enter her DM and they're venting, I say, Bab energy. Me, I can't vent inside my journal. I don't even now when I say vents, it's not even that I'm just I'm actually in awe. So I'm coming from a place where we do hard truth. There's no pampering, it's tough love. I've been there since I was a teenager. So tough love has always been the way. So maybe even sometimes I feel like I come across as hard to some people. If you know, but it's tough love. I'm hard on myself. Sometimes I think I'm too hard on myself and I can critique myself a lot. And I also need to work on that. But um I already said to you, this is somewhere that God has said I should be. So and I've firsthand experienced something that God was dealing with in my life through her. So it wasn't a case of even if I struggled, and the struggling is not what she has said, it's just the struggling of how can I implement? That's my only word. I'm a solutions person. So there's a problem. How do we fix it? Okay, we don't have this data in the house, and I'm struggling to tell, especially when Eddie was not in a second, I'm struggling to tell Eddie that we should implement this. How can I do it? So I may keep quiet for months. I may not do that thing for months because I cannot find a way. I'm not the head of my family, so I feel like there's certain things I cannot be doing by myself, and I want my husband on board. I may not talk about it for months, but eventually I would go and talk about it, and say, please, can we do these things differently or can we do that differently? And he's a very great person. He's a very great. I married a great man, and that's just the truth. He would eventually, see reason and agree. But I would not say there's anything that will cause me to find friction. Honestly, I don't know. It's not me.
So what's coach's best phrase? No coach is always known for saying things that like scatters people or that just sticks with you. What is the best phrase that resonated with you that coach has said?
And I wrote this thing down. It's blown off my head right now. Apart from parenting is about you, which I think is even the DP that brought me close to. I mean, brought me into inner circle. There's this particular one. When she's especially in her voice notes when she says, comfort is the burial place of kings. Um, this morning, oh, I have them, but I'm sorry. As you said, it just feel from. I can actually talk to you the way coach talks, but I don't know, for some reason it's just gone off my head.
Mm, it's fine. Do you have any motivation for the audience? Because a lot of people seem to like you a lot, to admire you per se. So can you give them any motivation? Like besides your consistency, you can also like include the consistency, but can you just motivate people that are not in the yard yet, the fellow yarders, just anybody watching?
Okay, what I'll say is, um, look at your life right now and understand that you're living on borrowed time. What are you doing with that borrowed time? Look at your life right now. Sometimes, even I dare say, look at your parents' lives. Look at what your parents have become. Look at what your family has become, like the ones, your older sisters, your older brothers. Look at them. Be sincere with yourself. Are you happy with the level of, do they look fulfilled, or are you happy with the level that they've, because I noticed another thing that made me so attracted to the inner circle is that there was one time we were doing, and that's why I'm in love with the inner circle. All my questions, literally. There was one time I sat down when I was not in the inner circle and I was, maybe in my mid 30s, and I said to myself, how is it that people work so hard, and then when they get to their 60s, their 70s, their 80s, they're very unhappy? They look happy, they have the grandchildren to go and do mugo and everything. But there's nothing about their life to show the 40 years of meritorious service. I'll say something really, really that I know I'm not supposed to say. Forgive me in advance. When before my dad died 3.5 years ago, he used to say in his very vulnerable state, he was 83. He used to say, "I'm done. I just want to go home. I just want to. What am I here for?" And I looked at him, I was like, this was the man that, was up, was down, was there for us, was paying school fees. He's now old. All of us have left the house. All of us have gone away. All of us have had, he said, oh, you're my last born. Now that you're married, I can now die. I said, I've never seen anybody that had wished for death as much as my dad did before he died. It was scary for me because even though he was 83, I could still see a few men of God in their 80s also who are moving up and down and still sharing the good news. What happened to fulfillment of purpose and destiny even at an old age? So that thing was so instructive for me that I said, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. So I did. I've done the life, as in, apart from the day of your death when nobody knows. But the patterns that you are, the patterns that you take, whether negative or positive, will propel you to a life that you know where it is going to. You just come and sit down with me and discuss your patterns with me. I will tell you where you will be when you're 80 or when you're 60, because it is glaring. So when I came into the inner circle, I was not even really bothered about those children, because those children are a product of who I am. A cow will give birth to a cow, a lion will give birth to a lion. So as much as I want a lion as a child, if I'm not a lion, I would not have a lion as a child. As much as I want a confident child, if I continue to hide at the back of the WhatsApp group and I'm not speaking and I'm not talking and I'm not giving voice to my thoughts, I will continue to sit down there. So I don't know what your motivation is. I don't know if you want to work so hard for your life, as in work hard. You're never even there for your kids. That's the funny thing, because you want to make money. You're never there. And then you want a life at the end of your life that is sweet. I don't know how you're going to get it, because whatever, as my mother was saying, as you lay your bed, now you go lie on them. So my own motivation for you is that look at where you want to get to in the next God knows how long of your life. God keeping us alive, God keeping us safe. I feel like the inner circle, and I don't feel, I know for a surety that the inner circle is somewhere that you can actually grow and you can actually thrive and you can actually find your purpose, yourself, your fulfillment beyond even the parenting. As a person first, your old age will be sweet. Not that you're doing old age and you're looking for how to go and stay here and stay there and stay there and stay there. You can't sit down. You have no relationship with the children that you've birthed. You have no relationship with your wife or your husband. I looked at it. I said, I don't want this life for myself. And I found, and God helped me. And I say it again. The inner circle is a place of answered prayer, because even though I had an idea of what I wanted to be, I had an idea of where I was going to, but the how, the inner circle has given it to me. And it's so sweet. It's so sweet because you don't, sometimes you, all you need is a roadmap, is a map. And that's where this is for me a roadmap. It's somewhere that I've found a map, and honestly, it's a sweet journey. I don't know how, I don't know what is kind of making you overwhelmed of trying to make your plate full, but the honest truth is that not so many things matter after all. So you can prioritize what matters.
Thank you very much for your motivation. I'm pretty sure that you've touched a lot of lives. You've touched mine too. So I'm speaking for me and every other person that has been on this session. And it was so nice to have you. You words cannot express it. But everything you said, from my best has to be what you don't break out of will break you. So a lot of people have other things to say, like judging from the comments, but I'm super, super thankful for everything you've said today. And on behalf of me and everybody at the Intentional Parents Academy, I want to thank you so much for doing this with us today. Thank you very much. And in case like people have forgotten, this is the intentional parenting journey with Mrs. Debbie, the consistent Mrs. Debbie. Thank you very much for joining us. And I know that you're going to be at the TIP Summit UK. I know that you're
Oh,
the
Birmingham,
first.
here we come.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Everybody in the UK, you're going to meet Mrs. Debbie, so I don't know why you're not registering for that
Please register.
summit.
We want to see you too.
You come and register now. And also for Lagos, coach is already on her way to you. Coach and the other coaches, don't forget, it's not like she's coming alone, she's coming with her battalion. So we'll see you tomorrow. It's at 9 o'clock. Yes. So you'd see her tomorrow, you'd see Coach Ebuka, you'd see Coach Etima, you'd see Coach Kunle, everybody, they are there for you. So thank you very much for joining us today. And if you've not registered for the inner circle, do well to register. If you've heard Mrs. Debbie's stories, I don't know what you're waiting for. I don't know if her motivation was not motivation enough. I don't know what else can motivate you. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we would see you tomorrow. Sorry, on Monday. Bye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
Have you Have you informed and invited every parent you know to the TIP Summit Lagos 2024 happening at the KICC Prayer Dome, Maryland, Lagos?
This summit is designed specifically for you, whether you are a new parent, seasoned parent, or even thinking about becoming a parent in the future. The Intentional Parents Academy have put up a full day of insightful session where we will equip you with actionable steps, proven strategies to make your parenting more impactful, intentional, and rewarding.
Join us for the TIP Summit featuring Coach Ebuka Ede, Chidozie Eze, Etima Ume, David Folahomi, and the governor himself, Coach Kunle Ologe, and the convener, Coach Wendy Ologe.
And guess what? Registration is totally free. All you need to do is to click the link below to secure a spot.
Invite your friend, family, and any parents that you know. This particular event is for everyone, including people from the nearby state.
If you are a business owner, this is a fantastic opportunity for you to connect to large audience. We still have vendor slots available. All you need to do is reach out to us. See you at the TIP Lagos Summit on the September 21st. See you there.